I'm Lucy Caldwell. I'm a patron of the Belfast Book Festival, and it was a privilege this year to judge the Mairtín Crawford Award for the short story, along with Rachel Kelly. The standard was so high this year. We were both really impressed. But our standout winner was Sarah Gilmartin's story, The Wife. So Sarah, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Your story, what Rachel and I both loved about it was from the very beginning, it's very assured. We knew we were in the hands of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Your story takes place in a taxi. It's called The Wife, and the story is told from the point of view of the wife, who is accompanying her husband to court. He's a restaurateur who's up on charges of sexual assault, misconduct, and the story is very totally controlled, stays with her until the very end, when maybe for the first time in her life, she decides to do something. Where did this idea for the story come from? What was this spark?
I guess just in the last few years, maybe really since 2017, we've seen a huge shift, a necessary shift in the way that women's experiences around sexual assault or harassment or misconduct, rape, the way they're being received in society. And following coverage of various trials, hearing them play out in the media, I thought that there was one voice that maybe we don't hear naturally enough very much from the partner or the wife of the accused or the abuser. And I thought I'd like to hear a little bit more about that and explore that. And certainly that voice, isn't the most important voice in that scenario. That belongs to the victim, but it is something. Just when I've seen coverage, I have thought, oh God, what must it be like to be in that person's shoes, and how do they feel?
And so writing the story, did the character come to you first? Or did it start with her, was it her interior monologue? Or was it an image?
I guess
Why did this one begin?
I guess it was an interior monologue, and also that idea of how she would be in the public eye and be being watched. But I chose then to set the story on the day of the verdict because I wanted to kind of give it a sense of urgency. So it's almost like she feels like it's her, it's the final day, that if she is going to do something to distance herself from this or to change, she'll probably need to do it today. Up until that point in the story, she has sat beside her husband, or she's been supportive of him. And, underneath all that, she's been seething or reeling or learning new things all the time from the women who have come forward with their stories. So I guess this is less about her husband today, even though the verdict is about him, and more about herself.
And you wrote the story quite fast, didn't you? I mean, this is the wonderful thing about your stories, because some stories take draft after draft after draft after years and years. And then with other stories, sometimes it feels like you catch something, you catch an updraft and the story just, you freewheel through it. And that can be so magical. And that was the case for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, with this story, I kind of took a break at the start of April, just from another longer project. I'm working on a novel at the moment. I just wanted to get away from it from a little bit, and it came quite quickly. And I sometimes, I pay attention a lot when writers are talking in the media, and I sometimes don't believe that when they say it came really quickly. I've never really had it happen before. I'm more of a person that it is about drafts and I go back to it. But I feel like it kind of magically appeared on my computer one day. That's the extent of it. So yeah, I wrote it very quickly over kind of a day or two, and then obviously went back and edited it and drafted it as well.
Can we hear an extract from it?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just read from the beginning. I'll read a couple of paragraphs from the beginning. So, The Wife. In the taxi on the way to the courthouse, we passed the restaurant. I'm sitting behind you, staring at the grey-black hairs on the back of your neck, the cowlick that disappears into the starched collar of your shirt. You don't look at the restaurant, not even an involuntary glance. You keep your eyes on the road ahead as the traffic slows for the lights and we stop outside the ivy-covered building. The shutters are down, as they always are at this time of the morning, but we both know that they will stay that way through the lunch rush and the dinner service too. That our restaurant, our beloved restaurant of 20 years, is no longer fit for purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. Mairtín Crawford was such a great supporter of emerging writing, of all sorts. And it feels that this is such a lovely way to celebrate and remember him and celebrate that impulse, that energy, these awards for emerging writers. It feels like a lovely coincidence as well that in your day job, you write a column on emerging Irish fiction for the Irish Times. So I'm not going to ask you, it feels like putting you too much on the spot to say which recent debuts and debut voices have you enjoyed most. But can we talk more generally about authors, maybe short story authors that you feel particularly inspired by?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to say on the debuts, I've been doing it since 2014. So I read nearly 300 debuts, and not to single anything out or anyone out, but there is a remarkable range in the time that I've been doing it in the voices that are coming through, and there's a lot of diversity. And I think really, it's hard to say that, or who knows if every so often you hear there's kind of a golden age of Irish writing. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but certainly Irish writers are making their mark both at home and abroad, and that's really great to see. In terms of the writers that I've always liked and that I go back to again and again, there's no great surprises. I love a great story, well told. Claire Keegan would be one example. I love her short stories. The novels of Anne Enright, her short stories as well. Further afield, Mary Gateskill, who actually she wrote a brilliant novella based in the Me Too world called This Is Pleasure. It was published late last year. And
yes, Serpent's Tail published it, didn't they? But I think it's also on the New Yorker website.
They're the full text on the New Yorker, so I really recommend if anyone hasn't read it and is interested in that world. It's a brilliant piece of writing, and it's told from the perspective of the person who's accused and also a good friend of his, a good female friend. So it's really interesting, and it's really good on the ambiguity and sometimes kind of that really murky line between what is abuse and what is, I guess, what we call in Ireland, gas crack, and then we're over the line. Other writers: Mary Gateskill, Alice Munro, Elizabeth Strout. Maybe moving away from short stories, the writer that I would read the most and that I am constantly recommending to people is the Baltimore author Anne Tyler. I love her novels. I'm interested in dysfunctional families in general. I think she does a great job. So that would be the main ones that I can think of at the moment anyway.
Does it feel an exciting time to be an Irish author who's just starting to publish, or do you feel daunted?
I think it is an exciting time. I mean, there are authors who are doing so well. If you look at, really in the last few years with Anna Burns winning the Booker and, Sally Rooney as well, how she has done so well with her novels and now with the TV series, Irish authors are really on the map. So, it affords opportunities for other Irish authors when that happens. So it's a really good thing.
That's what I think. A rising tide. All boats lifted. What will winning the Mairtín Crawford Award mean for you? You've mentioned you're working on a novel as well. Is it going to buy you more time? Sometimes I always think that as well as the public recognition, which, that approbation can mean so much, but also sometimes the greatest gift to a writer is time or money to buy that time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's twofold, as you said. The recognition is great. It's great for the confidence. It's good for the soul. Writing can be, a hard enough process. So it's good to have something to kind of a nice little boost to keep you going. But practically speaking, this award does come with a substantial prize. So it's £1,000 and it's a 3-night stay in the Rivermill Writing Retreat in Down, which is a great prize for any writer, irrespective of whether they're emerging or established. And I work as a freelancer, so I'm always splitting between projects, whether in journalism or lecturing. So it really buys you just a bit of time to give over to the writing and to go deeper into the draft. So yeah, at the moment I'm working on redrafting a novel with my agent. It's loosely set between Dublin and Carlow, and it's about a dysfunctional family. Although I guess you could probably say that about most novels in some respect. And it has similar themes to the wife, in that I'm interested in troubled female characters, the things that they keep back from the world, and also the damage that those closest to us, whether that's families or husbands or wives or friends, do to each other, and how that may play out over time and down through generations as well.
Brilliant. Well, a worthy winner of a wonderful award, and I can't wait to read the novel. I know if this is your first introduction to Sarah's work, we're going to be hearing such a lot more from her. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Lucy.